In a small cafe at the corner of a quiet Paris street, a woman sips her espresso and decides, quite spontaneously, to board a train to Marseille. She tells herself she needs a break from routine, a change of scenery, something to shake her soul awake. As she boards the train, the philosopher who sits in the next seat happens to glance at her and smile. Neither realizes that this decision, seemingly so free, so whimsical, may have been carved into the fabric of the universe long before either of them took their first breath. Thus begins the dance between free will and determinism, two ancient forces tugging at the human mind like rival stars pulling on the tides of reason. Determinism whispers that everything, every twitch of a muscle, every flicker of thought, every sigh under moonlight, has a cause. It tells us that the universe is a vast and perfect machine, a grand clock whose cogs and gears have turned since the Big Bang. If we knew the position of every atom and every law governing him, we could, like Laplace's demon, predict the future with absolute precision. In this view, the woman in the cafe did not choose Marseille. Her desire was shaped by her childhood, her serotonin levels, the angle of the morning light, and a dozen other variables too subtle to notice. Her decision was not an act of freedom, but the inevitable result of a cascade of prior causes. Is that terrifying, or strangely comforting? If all is determined, perhaps we are innocent of our crimes and humble in our virtues. We are chess pieces moved by unseen hands, not wicked when we fall, nor proud when we rise. Our actions were destined, our choices illusions. But then, what is choice? Now enter free will, fiery and defiant. It storms the halls of causality and demands that we are not mere victims of the universe's momentum. It insists we are agents, conscious authors of our lives. Free will believes the woman in the cafe could have stayed or gone, that she felt the pull of both options and chose between them. Free will finds its champions in the sensation we all feel, that pulse of freedom when we decide to speak, to love, to walk away. No one forces our hand, we say. We are more than the sum of neurons and nurture. But how do we reconcile this feeling with science? Neuroscientists have discovered that decisions can often be predicted milliseconds, sometimes even seconds, before we are consciously aware of making them. If the brain has already decided, and we simply feel like we're in control after the fact, are we not simply narrators in a play we didn't write? And yet, can science capture the soul's rebellion? Enter the philosophers who seek peace in paradox, the compatibilists. They say determinism and free will are not enemies. We are free, they argue, not when our actions are uncaused, but when our actions are caused by us, by our values, our desires, our reasoning. If a person jumps into a river to save a drowning child, compatibilism says this act can be both determined and free. Determined by compassion, by past experiences, by neural pathways shaped by a life of empathy. But still free, because it flowed from who that person is. Freedom, in this view, is not randomness. It's alignment with the self. But some protest. If the self is also shaped by causes beyond our control, what remains of freedom? Is the self just a puppet, its strings woven from history and biology? Some reach for physics to liberate us. They point to quantum mechanics, where particles behave unpredictably, where uncertainty reigns. Could this inject the wiggle room free will needs? But randomness is not freedom. If a roulette wheel determines our choices, are we free? Or just victims of cosmic chance? Others turn to chaos theory, sensitive dependence on initial conditions. A butterfly flaps its wings, and a hurricane is born. Perhaps the mind is a chaotic system, where small variations lead to unpredictable outcomes. Perhaps in this unpredictability lies something that feels like freedom. Still, the deeper we dive, the blurrier the truth becomes. Perhaps the truth lies not in choosing sides, but in recognizing that we are storytellers. Our lives are narratives we write in real time. Whether our choices are ultimately determined or not, we experience ourselves as choosers. We debate, we doubt, we dream. That inner voice, the one asking, "Should I?" is not easily dismissed. The woman on the train may have been shaped by 1,000 causes. But she feels free. She acts with purpose. She regrets. She hopes. That matters. Maybe free will is a story evolution wrote in our brains to help us survive. Maybe it is an illusion with moral consequences. Or maybe it is real, something no physics can measure, no brain scan can detect, something woven into the very structure of consciousness. In the end, to ask whether we are free or determined is like asking whether a flame dances or follows the wind. The answer may be both. We are rivers shaped by gravity and rainfall, but no two rivers flow exactly alike. Perhaps the greatest act of freedom is not escaping determinism, but living meaningfully within it. To own our actions, even if their roots lie deep in the soil of time. And perhaps, in that quiet ownership, we find a freedom deeper than choice. The freedom to be who we are, fully and truly, within the mystery of it all.